Hi, my name is David Chanin. I'm a World Master from the World Taekwondo Federation. I would like to welcome you to my Bayonet tape. Please practice safely and bearing in mind the safety of yourself and your friend. Thank you. Myself and my student today, we will be teaching you series about the art and science of bayonet fighting. I would start with the vital spot necessary needed in this art. I would call one of my students, Mr. Miller. Sir. I will go ahead generally speaking about the vital spot in the body before we go ahead and discuss the vital spot needed for the bayonet. The artery of the arm, we have the artery of the arm, which are along inside the body, inside the forearm, and also the armpit areas. As well, we have the inner of the thigh. You have major arteries here. Against this side, we have the stomach areas. We have the heart. We have the throat. And we have the carotid along the side of the neck. As well, we have the eyes area. When we're working with the bayonet now, in a war field, the soldier is normally covered with a lot of gear and clothes and so on. We'll be aiming to the throat. We'll be aiming to the eye. We'll be aiming to the hands. And we'll be aiming to the stomach and the heart and the inner thigh of the leg. I'll demonstrate with the bayonet. This is a checked bayonet. We talk into the stomach areas. You can stab any areas here. You have to go deep enough and you twist. If you want to strike to the side of the ribs, you can either go flat or you can go vertical. To the throat, you can stab straight. You can slash. You can cut and slash. You can go back to the growing area. You can, for psychological damage, you can thrust. You can slash. You can go to the inner thigh. You can cut over this area. And you can go to the back of the thigh and the back of the legs too for other type of damage. When you use your bayonet fight, you have to have a good ability to aim very well. The aiming of the bayonet to the target is the result of your practice on target. And when you aim, you have to aim with precision, with power, focus, and appropriate balance. And when you aim to cut or to slash, you have to commit yourself without any hesitation and with viciousness when you are in a self-defense situation. Before we start the proper grip and proper guard and stances and so on, I'd like to say a word. The bayonet fighting skill is extremely dangerous and only and solely should be used for military or for people who are responsible and used for purpose of legitimate self-defense. The reason of the bayonet teaching has three main purposes. Number one is to improve the art of bayonet fighting through the fundamental of the scientific application of the martial art. Number two is to promote warrior or soldier quality standard, moral, mental, and physical standard. And number three is to encourage the soldier to achieve their potential in practicing their art to build self-discipline and good attitude. Now I will demonstrate the appropriate grip and eye and breathing with Mr. Darrell McFerrin. Okay. The guard of the bayonet, very important, and when we grab the bayonet, is to, we're not going to go with the stance. Now we're going to just focus on the hand motion. We have here, we can grab it below the muzzle here, and firm enough, but not too tight. And this hand will go in this area, firm enough, but is not too tight. The muscle of your shoulder should be relaxed, should be loose and relaxed. And the wrist should be straight. And the butt of the bayonet should be away from your thigh. And the bayonet itself should align this facing that way. And the distance from your chest to the rifle should be approximately 3 fists. The reason why is that if you bring your bayonet too close to your body, and during a combat situation, you will be jammed very easy. Your opponent can invade you very easy, and you will be jammed. So this is a good buffer zone for you. Second, it will establish your balance too, because the weight of the rifle will balance you. If you put your bayonet closer to your chest, perhaps too, during a stress situation, you will be kind of like vulnerable in your equilibrium. When we go with the bayonet now, your stance should be very comfortable according to your height and your body. Meaning you take a position which will make you easy for you to move and maneuver easier while maintaining your balance. Let's say we're talking a modified back stance in Taekwondo or in Karate or any martial art. Your weight fluctuates between your 2 feet, and you are comfortable enough and balanced from all the corner. Meaning if I pushed you this way, you have to have balance. This way you have to have balance, yet without rigidity. This rifle now, should be moved this way. See? Let me show you this way. This position. Not here, because you could hit yourself or close to your body. This way, and away from your body, and you point the blade toward the target while you're focusing your eye on your opponent. Now, let's move the bayonet here, more loose and relaxed. Your right hand, the hand which will grab, is the hand which will provide power. Your left hand, this one, is the guidance of the bayonet, meaning you're going to guide the weapon to its destination. Let's go ahead and take the guard. Let's go from that position. When I say on guard, you just say, stay, just this way. Ready? On guard. Okay, if I check the soldier, if I push in, you should be flexible and strong enough. If I strike in, you should be ready. If your guard is close to you, I'll invade you easy, and I can intervene with that motion. This is your guard. You are natural. You are relaxed. Now, the eye. A lot of people teach too much eye scary movement, like you have to scare someone with your eye and make all this type of funny thing. Not really necessary. When you are fighting, you have to look through your opponent. In other words, when you are in the time of you want to attack someone, you have to look through him, meaning you have to focus your eye through the target you're going through, like a self-hypnosis. And you go through this target. Before the attack, you look your opponent in that area to see his body intention, his face intention. It's extremely important to do that. Avoid unnecessary like facial tension, just focus your eye and avoid blinking too much. You don't want to blink your eye too much. Okay? So let's go ahead now combine eye and hand technique with appropriate way. Ready? Let's say me and you, we are fighting. Let's face this way, and we're ready to go. This is the eye. Just natural, and try not to blink as much as you can. Now, this should be a little bit pointed inside, because here automatically you are to me, and I get in. This should be slightly right, pointed to me, right, and rest position. And you have to see me clearly. You have to see me a little bit clearly, and you go through me. This hand, put your thumb in, right, and this, right. Some people grab this here. I don't like it because this could hold on something, could trip on something. It is better to control it this way. Now, the other thing is the breathing. A lot of people, when they breathe, a soldier or a fighter, he would tell from his enemy if he's afraid is from the way he breathes. When people normally are afraid, they breathe too much, and their stomach is synced inside their body. And they overbreathe, and their shoulders are shrinked, and their mouth is open. While a strong warrior and fighter, he breathes quietly and slowly from his stomach, and he keeps his lower abdomen slightly tight and push out, and when he breathes, he roars like this type of rolling, and you breathe slowly and quietly. It is normal in a confrontation situation that your heartbeat gonna be quick and your adrenaline will pump and you're gonna start to breathe quietly. So you have to catch yourself and you have to immediately control yourself and start back to that slow and quiet breathing. And as much as you can, do not let your opponent feel and see you tired. For example, let's say I'm fighting with this guy in a bayonet fighting, and the best time for me to attack is when he inhales. When he inhales, he will be tense and slow, and his reflex will be so weak that it's the best time for me to go ahead and finish this attack. Finally, the kiya, the screaming. A lot of people scream like in martial art or any other, like they scream like, ah, and all this stuff. Everybody understands so far why we scream in the martial art is to make mental hole in the opponent, to give us courage, to help us tight our lower abdomen, and yet for other purpose. But if I want to keep screaming all the time, I will get so tired. So it is not really necessary to psychic him is to scream. Only you scream when you feel you are afraid. You can go ahead and you scream, and do not exaggerate with the screaming. I would, for example, show you different type of screaming. Number one, for example, you want to train screaming from your lower abdomen. Example, that's enough, and exhale. If you scream from here, that's no good. Second, if you keep screaming, you get tired. You have more oxygen. He's not going to feel it anymore psychologically. Second, screaming in confrontation is roaring. Like I'm fighting with him, we're engaging. That's the best way to control your way of screaming. Finally, to conclude, remember again the grip. Your hand, not too tight, not too soft. Firm enough. Your bayonet away, your rifle away from your body, approximately 2 to 3 fists. Your other hand is relaxed and just not too tight. The shoulder loose. The blade is facing. Your gaze on the opponent. Your gaze through the opponent when you want to attack. Don't let your opponent see you and feel you breathing and tired. Don't show any sign of fatigue, and breathe only when it's needed, and scream only when you feel are afraid or when you are ready to finish your opponent. Thank you. In this segment, we will be dealing with the footwork. Any martial art or any bayonet fighting or any self-defense method without appropriate footwork, this art is missing a lot. The footwork are the blood of any martial art. The reason why we use footwork is to get closer to the target or away from the target, in a quicker and safe manner. When performing footwork, we have to perform it with a dynamic and static equilibrium and balance. The footwork starts from stances. The stances are the foundation of every technique we want to use. Let's take, for instance, our assault stances, the one we will be fighting. This is called back stance or fighting stance. Next stance come to the line is the parallel horse stance. Comfortable, weight even, little tension here, feet parallel. This will help me to fight side to side and sometimes to the front. Next is the diagonal stance, meaning move my foot, align with the back heel, distance from my two big toes is shoulder and a half, and my weight is even. The diagonal stance designed as a transitional stance. We could use it either to fight or to shoot from that position without the fear of losing the balance. And yet, it will help us to change and move to any other stances. Another stance is our cat stance or rear foot stance. Basically, this stance is not practical for fight. It's just a stance transitional to another stance, which will be come back later to that position. The front stance is a stance where, like you're walking in a street situation, the distance between your front feet and the back feet is approximately 1 shoulder and a half. You're measuring from your front big toes to your back big toe, approximately, and slight weight on your leading legs and feel sense of balance and equilibrium. This stance is excellent to move into the target, into the assault, and which provide you with powerful attack and defense. Now we're going to go ahead and work the footwork from that stance. Let's say, for example, my target is, I am fighting here, and my target is there, and I need to move forward. We have one footwork shifting, meaning I move one foot to reach, to make the distance reachable, then I can come back. If the target is a little bit far, I move two footwork, 1, 2, forward. If I need to move away from the target, I move 2 footwork backward. When doing that, when you are attacking, you have to avoid any stability. You don't want to be very low because you will be slow. Low equal slow in the sense of self-defense. You go up easy and lightly, and you step forward or backward. While if I am low, I will be too slow. The other soldier will have more advantage on me. So 2 footwork forward, 2 footwork backward. Third is the stomping. You stomp forward first to add power. Because when you stomp, you increase more weight, more hip movement, and psychologically, you dominate the opponent. And when you stomp, you will be obliged to lift your leg in case of a trench fight or there is a big rock on the floor in fight. You would be going above it so you don't get tripped and you can stab your opponent. So we'll have stomping forward, stomping backward, stomping forward, stomping backward. Another footwork is the sliding. It's a quick movement. Quick movement. You need it for a short distance, but in a quicker manner. Another footwork is the pivot of 45 degree. Pivot either clockwise or counterclockwise. It's to clear your body from the line of danger. If somebody stabbing me from here, I'll move that way. Or if he's stabbing me from here, again, I might want to choose to move that way. Perhaps I can't move this way. Another footwork is the jumping. You could jump this way or jump that way, since there is maybe something you need to go over it. All those footwork we just show, they fall into the segment of dodging. Dodging in the tactic is to help you as a fighter save energy and give you chance to study an opponent who is aggressively attacking you. By dodging left and right, using your different footwork, forward or backward, will give you a chance to save your energy, to exhaust your opponent's energy, and to help you to finish your opponent. Now we're going to take the example with two of my students, Mr. John Haley and Mr. Ruben Sanchez. Okay, gentlemen. Okay. Let's face each other, please, gentlemen. And I'll go ahead behind you here, so I will correct you more, so we'll move from here. Take the fighting assault position here. All right. Normally, in the bayonet fight, soldiers don't move too much back. We teach always to go forward and attack. But tactically, sometimes when you're faced with an opponent, you might need to move forward and backward. We're going to use the first footwork. Mr. Haley here, he's going to step one footwork, shifting. Ruben, he's going to move to a cat stance to dodge him. Ready? Go. One. Good. Then we come back to position. Let's say John decided to stab Ruben with this one. Ruben, he just moved enough from him. One. And he come back to position. Second one, let's say Ruben, now he's going to move 1 and 2. 2 foot forward. Ready? 1, 2. John, he moved back the opposite to that. Right. Then John, he do stomping 1 and 2. Ruben, he moved back 1 and 2. Very good. Now, let's say Ruben, he is rushing toward John. John, he'll pivot on 45 degrees, while Ruben is quick sliding and rushing on him. Ready? Go. Right. Which will give John a clearing of his body, and if he decides to finish, he will be finishing his opponent. And then we come back to that position. One more time. Ready? Rush and turn. 1. Good. Let's come back to position. Or he can rush this way. Let's say the attack coming to that area. So John, he'll decide he'll dodge this manner. Ready? 1. And back to position. And face each other. And bow. Thank you. Finally, I will be showing certain drill, 4-direction drill, so you can practice them to improve your footwork. I will give example number 1. Let's say you have your rifle with you, and you're going to move 4 direction pivoting. I face, let's say, E. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's very important that lead foot when I move is to rise my body and pivot it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is one method of 4-direction practice. Method number 2 is to move forward, let's say in front stance, and maybe thrust. 2, 3, 4, and back up to the initial position. So 2 simple footwork, we can really practice them. Okay, now I want to show you a little bit another type of footwork which goes cross, forward, and cross lateral footwork. Let's say you are in that position and you don't want to expose your body, but yet you need to gauge a distance a little bit quick while maintaining your balance. Is to cross your leg, putting your front foot slightly pointed 15 degrees outward. The common movement of a crossing is people do like this, but this type of movement is extremely dangerous because it makes you off balance. So I can cross this way, I can stab if I want, and I can step to gauge that distance. Backwards, the same way. I can cross, put my leg slightly to the back side of my heel, then moving to any stance I wish. When you cross, avoid moving your body left or right to expose it. Just keep it steady. I'll show an example. Crossing, this type of crossing should be very swift, very sharp. Second crossing is lateral. I want to move from side to side. Let's say I am encircled by 3 opponents. I cross. If I put my leg this way, like I'm doing right now, it's extremely incorrect. I must put it this way. Then I'll move to any stance I wish, either diagonal or horse stance. I can cross this way. I can move to any stance I wish. Second alternative is to move 1, 2, 1, 2. I can do this while I'm in my fighting stance. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Final footwork I want to show in this series is modify 2 footwork forward and backward. The first one we showed is when you move forward 2 footwork, we did 1 and 2, meaning we moved this footwork. Then we follow with this one. And when we move backward, we move this one, and the other will follow. So modified one will do the opposite. We move the back first, push the body. And this one pulls the body. I will make a demonstration with a student. I will go ahead and show with the student. I'll go with Mr. Sullivan to do this motion. Why we have to do that? Let's say we are in fight stance. If he decided to slash me, he come inside and he's a quick slash to the stomach. If I moved this foot first, do it slower. 1, 2, he already got me. If I move this one first, go, so, enough. Again, so, enough. If I want to engage now after I move back, 1, then I go engage. I can either stomp inside it quick by pushing my body with that foot, taking that stance, this motion, or I can move to the side. After he slash, I can quickly move to the side with just show and do the slashing. When I want to use my crossing, let's say I'm fighting with him, I'll step on him, I cross. When crossing, just if I'll move my body, I'll open. If I keep my stance here, he won't notice me crossing now, because I can do this motion. Now let's say himself from here, he's stabbing in. I move this one enough to go again and back up. This is why we have different footwork, because they are designed for different situation and type of distance you needed to gauge to do the motion. Let's say on the side footwork we just did. Let's say we are here, and I'm working here. Let's say he's stabbing me, and there's another guy coming from here. He cross inside, crossing, I can cross, then I can back up with that leg again. I can do this type of footwork. If I want to move toward him, and there is a guy coming here, I can move 1, 2, while did not lose sight on that 3 people attacking me. Footworks are extremely important for the bayonet fighting. Please practice them diligently. Thank you. Thank you. Again, now we're going to explain the method of attacking, which is mean jab or thrust, slashing, cutting, or ripping, whatever. We need to exercise caution again. We need, when we practice with our partner, we make sure we have the bayonet is covered, or we have a not real weapon to work out. Work out slowly, carefully, and with good responsibility. Now we move to the area which is the most important area, is the attack. There is different type of bayonet to put on the rifle. We have the thrusting, we have the slashing. I will show first straight thrust. I will show it facing this way, then I will show it facing that way. Vertical thrust, the bayonet is vertical, and let's say going to the solar plexus area or to the heart area or stomach area. When you thrust, do not go like this and back, even though it will give you power, because you telegraph. You have to thrust immediately without telegraphing. One. This hand, the push hand. The right hand is the push, the power hand. The left hand is guidance, but yet it will assist in power. Second is the power coming from that back foot, which will launch you. And keep your bayonet steady. You have to be extremely powerful when you practice with it. Practice with a heavy carabine, not light. Balance, tight your stomach, look through your opponent. I'll face this way. Do it slower. When you thrust, this hand should not lock unless for special circumstances. You have to push from the back foot. And you want more power, you can stomp. B is to twist inside. So when you go inside the body, then you twist. Then you pull back to your guarding position. Or later on we learn how to follow up with different training. Second way, you can still thrust with your combat stance. For example, let's say flat bayonet. Your bayonet just straight. This way. If the target far, I use the 2-foot work. If he's very close to me, I move back and I hit. This is straight. Second way is from down to up. Let's say you are locked with him, with weapon locked. You're close to the opponent. You might want to bring your hand slightly in and under the guard to thrust in that area, or you can go straight through the heart area. Show it from here. Forward, you locking, roll, and up. Up. Now your stance is deep. Your right hand is the one going to push. Your left hand is guiding. Your bayonet is steady, doesn't move left and right. Again, your grip, your breathing, your relaxation, your eye are important factor. Third thrusting is downward. You're going from up to down to the target. Said you block, you're going downward. It's a quick movement. Now here you don't have that much power as when you are from here. So you need to emphasize on speed and good weight movement with your knees springing. It gives you a lot of power. Let's move now to the slashing. Slashing is primary to the throat and sometimes to the eye. When you slash to the eye, is mainly for psychological purposes. When you slash to the throat, you have almost immediately to finish up. Slashing to the throat is without any telegraphing. Your backhand, this hand, will pull while the bayonet slash in a turning motion. Both hand assist. This one pull you, but this one now is the one gonna push. When you slash, try not to go too much far away because you create an opening here. You have to use the letter SS, meaning speed, short, and quick motion. So here, quick, quick, quick. That's called inward slashing and outward slashing from that tip of the bayonet. I'll show it from here. Inward slashing, outward slashing. One, and the body assists with it. It moves with, throw your weight with it. Throw that weight, the motion. Quicker. That's slashing. You have downward slashing. Cut through the downward area. In this segment, we're going to deal with the defensive movement. Usually, defense is attack by itself. And when we speak in a military purpose or when you are in a war situation, you really don't want to be on the defensive all the time. You want to take that initiative and keep building that initiative. But knowing the fundamental of the defense and the defense move along with the footwork will help you to regain this initiative in case you lost it in front of your opponent who is, let's say, trained well in the martial art into the bayonet fighting. Defensive tactics or defensive techniques or any movement of defense is divided to three important elements. You attack as your opponent attack, or defense when the opponent attack, block the attack, or deflect it, and the third one, dodge it, let the opponent miss, and counter-attack. Let me explain with Mr. Sullivan, Dale Sullivan, what do I mean? Let's say, for example, we are in fighting position. Let's say I am in with a soldier fight, individual soldier fight, and let's say he know martial art, and I know martial art, and all we know bayonet, we are in the war field. Let's say as he attack me, he telegraph, he do just, let's say, the straight step. This is what meaning defensive movement as he attack with the straight again. So, and I move. If I was not learning footwork, how can I get there? I can't get there. So I need to study his movement. So the first method of defense is attack when your opponent starts his attack. Boom. Second is after the opponent launches his attack, parry the attack. Let's say he's going straight to the head. I parry the attack, then I follow up with my counterattack. The third one is after the opponent attack, dodge it. Let's say he's here in that situation and he's going to, I give him an opening to here. I dodge this way without doing any movement, then I counterattack. The one I just did, the last one and the first one are the most difficult one. The first one we repeated in a slow motion. Let's take an example. He's going in a slashing motion. He's going inward slashing. As he's doing that, he creates an opening. I did inside, as in, we're moving in. I use the footwork, I intercepted him. The second one, let's say he coming inside and let's say low mid-area attack with jab. This is kind of like the easiest one. The last one is dodging. Let's say he's rushing on you, running straight through. You move this way away from him and you can trust him. So all the three are demanding skill, balance, and appropriate timing of the opponent. The first defense now is, let's say, with the interception. Parrying. Parrying meaning deflect the direction of the attack. The parry is when the attack is aimed to the throat area, to that area of your body. 1. It is recommended to parry with the side of the bayonet or this part of this area. This part of the rifle is the part we're going to use to parry or block any high attack coming to the body area, to the neck area. Again, we repeat. 1, I parry it. Then immediately, of course, later on, we're going to show follow-up. I'll follow up. When you parry, you do not go over too much. That's too far. And you do not move too far enough when you're taking your footwork. In a way, if you want to counter-attack now, you are far out of range. That meaning he's going to follow up. He's not going to sit down and wait. Because when I parry, the good soldier, he's going to go with that elbows, meaning I need to move. See? Again, he hit, he move, I move. Or if I don't move, he go in, I have to intercept with another motion. So I have always to be ready and ready to move and to mobilize my body. So the first defense with interception is parry, attack to the high. 1, call inward, outward. 2. So 2 ways. 1, 2. With a slight footwork, stay in the range. 1, 2. That's number 1. Second one is, let's say the attack want to stab down to the head with the downward. 1, I can block, rising block with the rifle. When I block rising block, I'll go inside more now. Instead of staying here, I'll go inside to slash or to use a buff or to on. So if I'm here, 1. If I want to go ahead and stab now, I'm not going to give me time. So I go 1. I might want to use slashing, pushing, hitting, stabbing. Then I'll move the movement. So let's repeat the high movement. Parry, straight, 1, 2, up, 1, and one more time up, 1. That's the motion. Second, we move to here. We use this part of the rifle, basically, to block this area. Instead, midsection, 2, again, through footwork. Little bit quicker, sharp and short. Avoid unnecessary use of energy. What you need to do is just to deflect, not to break his rifle or his bayonet. Again, just deflect it and stay with that range. One last time in slow motion. And deflect it. If you stay here, he's still going to go in. You have to deflect it. You have to push it slightly away, and you will be out of angle of the movement. Third one, let's say to the growing area. Let's say stabbing to the growing for psychological reason, because he failed to get this area. You use this portion, the butt, to block with. I can block this way. 2, I can block that way. 3, I can block this way if I wish. But again, immediately, I will follow in. So let's repeat before we conclude this portion. High, parry in, and parry out. Midsection, low section, okay. In this segment, we'll be using the striking and smashing with the butt of the rifle. Okay, I will use Mr. John Haley with me to work on him. First, I will work on target, how we basically use the butt. This part and this part, this part, this part, and this part are all potential weapons. Basic rule, you use the cold blade on soft areas of the body, such as the stomach and the heart and neck. You use hard, such as the butt, on bone, to break bone. And this is to pierce and thrust and slash. This is to break and smash. Simple. We start lower. Let's say you are in fight situation and you trip and you are falling with that soldier and he's hitting you. You can start attack, horizontal, butt attack by smashing sharply with pulling and pushing. You can move to this bone here. You can move to strike even on the guard or on the arm or on the shoulder in case you are not, you cannot use deadly force, you need just in a riot. You can use the ribs areas to strike with. It's called horizontal movement with the butt. Low, mid, and high. High, you can go to the head. Any area in the skull, you could use that. Smashing, you can go this way, that way. Upside down, vertical, you can go under to up, meaning going, maybe let's say I'm fighting, our weapon is locked. Let's say our weapon is locked or locking block, and suddenly I can go, boom, maybe knock the weapon, follow inside, follow the soldier, and smashing. This is also a good technique in the training. I'll take example on target. Let's say we are engaged with situation. I'll move inside. And you strike, sharping, push, sharp. Don't go like this. That's too much. Then you create an opening. Sharp motion and quick pull back to your guard. Or quick follow up. 1, 2, 3. When you do the smashing, again, you cannot do the smashing when I'm fighting with someone. I don't do the smashing from here because I'll do the smashing when I'm close. Always you do those when you close. When you close now, tactically he can't use the blade. I lock my weapon, I could use, see? Let's go from here. This is, you can see from the camera. See, I'm here, I lock my weapon, we're pushing on each other. I cannot go ahead and tell him, all right, I'm going to go ahead and stab you. It just will be no time. We lock the weapon. I use the advantage of the body movement. I move my footwork, boom. I start from here instead of wasting time. So let's say I am here, instead of lifting up and go here, which will time consuming, I'll start 1, 2, and finish 3. In case I'm close enough to the target, just I'll go 1 and 2. Instead, I am clocking in that position, and he's closing on me. I can go, boom. I can start up and inside the motion. But you do not start like here, going like this, because then I create an opening, which will make me more vulnerable to him with this training. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to call another student, please, Mr. Sullivan, to go ahead and do some combination with us. Okay, first let's face forward, please, and let's kind of like, once you read the tape and you watch it carefully, you can create your own combination based on the sample which we'll be showing. You don't need to do this exactly the way we do it. Just we're showing you sample now so we can make your training easier and more creative. Very important, adopt what is easy for you, quick, consecutive, and with non-stop. Let's say now, imagine someone going straight on you with a bayonet, block with parry, 1, then quick 1 foot forward, slash, and step, hit, step, smash. Then when you back up, it is better not to back up. It's better to continue moving in real situation because you get to proceed in the fight. But let's say we're going to back up due to the situation. I'll back up with defense. I slash, and I use my footwork and guard again. Let's take again the same example. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Sharp, like this. Bang! See, like this. There, right. Bang! Right, quicker and strong. You have to be strong, but not tense the shoulder. If you tense the shoulder, you're going to be very slow. Sharp, slash, and back to the position. Good. Let's take another example. Let's say weapons are locked. You engage the opponent, lock the weapon. Ready? Lock. Now, from down position, roll, stab, enter. And growing, boom. And smashing. And back to position. That's meaning this scenario. Let's say I do with Mr. Haley. We locking. That is the situation. I move in. I slash under. I go under him. Boom. Boom. And you finish that shoulder. Then you slash and you back to your position. Let's repeat it one more time. Lock. Lower your body. Roll. Upward. Then forward. Up. Slash back. And back to position. Example number 2. Let's go forward now. Parry this way on 45 degree. 1, 2, 3. Right. One more time. You have to imagine that situation. You might not have a friend to work with you. And if you are in the soldier group, you will be working as a team. So you will get an idea how to do that. Again, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Why I did that? Let's take a situation with Dale. Let's say Dale, he go ahead and he hit me here. And as I do this one, he blocked me up. And I go this way, downward, with the rifle downward. Again, repeat. He going in, I go in, and I go whap. This one. Then I follow with this one if I want, smash, and keep going. A lot of combination we can work. One more time, different one. Ready? Straight stab. 1. High stab. 2. About 3. 4. And battle. Just be more creative as long as it is in a logical way. Don't put things illogical. For example, illogical meaning, let's say I did this one, then I did this one, and this one. That's illogical and it's too much time. While if I do this one, the logic dictates I go in, then I do this, and I do that. So do logical combination. One more time. Let's go low, mid, and high thrust. 1, 2, 3. Follow, finish. Opponent, back up to position. Let's go one more time. Parry, 45 degree. 1, thrust. Opponent, he block. Push him and stab him. I'll do this with Dale. I hit. He opponent to block. And he hit me again. Upward. I block. I push him. Then I stab him or finishing him. So again, you can use your back foot as a kicking, pushing motion to help you enough to use your logical movement of the butt attack. So to conclude, very important to go quick and sharp and short with the low horizontal to the flank areas, to the head areas, smashing, upward, and sometimes downward. You can do that. When you do the movement, you might want to just put combination with the butt only, with the buttock of the rifle. Combination 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll practice. Again, can we do that, gentlemen? Ready? Low, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to position. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put it sharp. Like this. And back. Position. And back. And now we conclude our tape series of the bayonet fight. I hope your knowledge will serve you to achieve your goal in this fine art. Please be safe and practice for the purpose of peace and justice. Thank you.